Welcome to Fantasy Coach Insider, your online guide that gives you weekly insight to your Coach Face League. CoachFace.com is fantasy football with a twist. Create your team of coaches and win based on the performance of the coaches' players. So what are you waiting on? Join a league, create your team, and watch Fantasy Coach Insiders to be one step ahead of your competition. Hi, I'm James McKnight, 11-year NFL veteran, and I'm your host of Fantasy Coach Insider. So what is all this buzz about CoachFace.com? Well, I'll explain it to you guys just like I explained it to my family and friends that have joined the league. CoachFace.com give you, the player, an opportunity to be your own general manager. Every year around April, you want to get into, who your team is going to draft, what player they should pick. Well, now you have your opportunity. Draft your head coach. Draft your offensive coordinator, pick your receiver coach. You get their player and give you an opportunity to see if you got what it takes to be a general manager in this league. CoachFace.com, a new twist to fantasy football. Now we're going to talk about some of the trending topics that's going around the league right now. And one of those trending topics is the rule changes. Some people hate the fact that they're trying to change the rules to extend the regular season to go to 18 games instead of 16 games. But the one that I want to focus on affect my position, and that's the wide receiver position. They want to change the rules to where the defensive backs can't contact the face mask and they can't touch the wide receiver more than 5 yards down the field. How is this affecting our Coach Face coaches? What are their defensive strategies? What are the things that they're going to do to help combat and stop these offenses that got guys running 4-2, 4-3 in the slot, on the outside? Well, one of the things that some of the coaches are doing are they're putting boxing gloves on some of the defensive backs so they won't hold and they can discourage them from trying to grab the receiver instead of moving their feet and playing the technique that they spend hours and hours of film study and working on the football field. So defensive coordinators have a task ahead of them this year. The players can't jam a receiver in the face. They can't touch the helmet at all because that's a 10-yard penalty. And if you playing in our Coach Face League, that's gonna be negative points towards you. So you want to pick a coach that's gonna be a disciplinarian. He's a coach that got his guys playing perfect football, perfect defense, and not getting penalties that's gonna hurt their team and hurt your league. So make sure that you choose wisely the coach that you pick for your head coach or your defensive coordinator. Such as a coach that I recommend is Pete Carroll and the defensive coordinators for the Seattle Seahawks. These guys are very disciplined. The Legion of Boom took the Seahawks team all the way to the Super Bowl. But one of the things that these guys did not do, they did not commit stupid penalties, neither on the offensive side of the ball or the defense. So I think Pete Carroll will be one of those coaches to pick for your fantasy league. Finally, I'm going to bring to you the Fantasy Coach Insider's rookie picks of the week. We're going to focus on the rookies on both offense and defensive side of the ball. And I'm going to start you off on the defensive side of the ball. We have some hot young linebacker talent with the Oakland Raiders and with Bob Sanders, with the Houston Texans and Mike Rabel, and also with Keith Butler at the Pittsburgh Steelers. But my pick, where I would go with the Jadeveon Clowney with the Houston Texans, because I believe that Bob Sanders and Keith Butler have a harder task and they have a harder job, mainly because they're looking for their players to come in and be impact players on their team. Whereas Jadeveon Clowney, he has J.J. Watts on the other side, who's a Pro Bowl player that's playing lights out football for the last 2 seasons. He's been the guy at the defensive end position, and so I think Clowney have a less pressure to come in and be an impact player on his team, and now he just got to be a complement to J.J. Watt. So my pick would definitely be Mike Rabel with the Houston Texans. Now I'm going to give you my picks on the offensive side of the ball. We got 3 quarterbacks that I think that are going to be good in the NFL, but right now a couple of them are struggling. And so we have the coaches that have the task is Dowell Loggins with the Cleveland Browns, Scott Turner with the Minnesota Vikings, and Frank Cefalo with the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think that Dowell Loggins and Scott Turner have a greater task with Johnny Manziel and Teddy Bridgewater, because these guys are young quarterbacks. They haven't really picked up the system right now. They've struggled in games and they played well in games. But my pick would definitely be Frank Cefalo with the Jacksonville Jaguars, because I think Blake Bortles out of University of Central Florida, I think this is a guy that can throw the ball all around the field. He can make every NFL throw, and he's a game manager. He can make plays both with his legs and with his arms. And so if I was picking a quarterback, I would definitely say that Frank Cefalo is my guy. Well, that's it for this week. I'm James McKnight. This is Fantasy Coach Insider. Get into the game at CoachFace.com.